Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Leanna and I'm a full-time reseller. Today is June the 14th and we're going to talk about the tools that I use to help make my job a little bit easier. If you are liking my one video a day in June, please give me a thumbs up. If you are interested in reseller content, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. I have been reselling for just over 3 years. And my toolkit has changed a lot since I began. I am still taking pictures on my phone. It is a newer phone. It's still about 3 years old, so it's not brand new, and I'm sure there's a lot better phones now. But this works really, really well, and I have no complaints about it, so I will continue taking my photos with this phone. Really and truly, all you need for pictures is something that takes clear, bright photos. That's it. And you know what? They don't have to be expensive. When you first begin, really and truly, I think you should be investing in the inventory and learning about the inventory before you really go into expensive equipment. So your phone is a great way to start taking pictures. Really and truly, the only things you need for your business to begin with is some sort of camera, some way to access the apps, the platforms, whether it's a computer or it's your phone, and a printer to print your shipping labels. And I think there's even some places that will print them for you, but just saying. So really, you don't need a lot to begin, but as time goes on and you start selling things, you want your job to be a little bit easier. So fast forward to about 6 months ago when I went through a huge update with my toolkit for a lot of different reasons. The number one reason is because I was granted a Heart and Hustle grant, so that helped me have extra cash to invest in my business. That money allowed me to build our own photo booth. We took that money and we bought all the components we needed, including some lights, and we DIY'd a photo booth because I wanted something a little bit bigger than what was available, and I didn't want to spend all of the money that Amazon wanted for the photo booths. So we did it for, I'm going to say, just over half of the price, and I mean, we're still tweaking it, but it's working really well. I also, at that time, had to buy a new steamer because my little handheld Conair Walmart brand steamer finally died a very horrible death, and I needed a new steamer. I invested in another Conair because I like the company. I have a floor standing one. It has a bigger reservoir, which helps me out a lot because I'm in an office space with all of these items, and getting water is just more of a chore there than it would be at home. The only thing with my Conair is I have not used the actual rack on the steamer to hang the clothes on, because when I process, I hang everything up to begin with. I have a system on my rack, one way. When their hangers are one way, it means that they're steamed and they're ready to be photographed, and the other way, they still need to be steamed. It's just what I do. So I didn't want to take them off the hanger, put them on the steamer, and put them back on a hanger. So I just take them off the rack, hang it on the wall on a command strip hook, and steam there, and it's working really well. I like my steamer. I did invest, thank goodness I won the Heart and Hustle, so that I had that extra cash to spend on my business. The lights that we have in the photo booth, and we have a flat lay area as well. It's a desk. It just has a piece of white, I think it's like a projector type vinyl, projector screen type vinyl that covers the desk. It's just a desk, and we have 2 other long skinny lights there. That works really, really well. We also have a photo booth. It's approximately 2 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet. It's a nice cube, and that works really well for really small items and for shoes, because then it's all white light and it works really, really well. I like that a lot. The last item I'm going to talk about is my rack. I just upgraded the rack because I was using a very flimsy it was a 2-rack system. It had no wheels. It was hard to move because it was flimsy, and it would not hold a lot of clothing, and when it did get too heavy, it would start sort of decrease it, like depressing in a sense. So I really wanted to upgrade. So my new rack is one rack. It's sturdy. It can hold a ton of items. It's on wheels, so I can move it around, which I find very convenient because that's my command hook is sort of behind it. So I can just move it out in steam. So it works really well. So those are my tools. You do not need all these tools to have a successful business. It's just something that I chose to do after like 2.5 years of reselling, to invest in a little bit better things for my business. But that's it. You don't need a steamer in your business. There are other ways to get wrinkles out if you have an iron at home. If you grab the items out of the dryer, if you wash and dry, grab them out of the dryer as soon as it's done. That will help prevent wrinkles. If you hang everything, as opposed to me, I just fold everything so I get more wrinkles. Another trick, if you don't want to buy a steamer, is you can take the clothing, even if you don't wash it, you can take it, put it in a dryer with a damp cloth, like a little towel, like a hand towel. Make sure it's kind of wet. Put it in with that, and that will help release some of the wrinkles. It takes about 20 minutes. So that is a way you can do that. For lighting, natural daylight, there is nothing that can beat natural daylight. If you have a spot that you can work with, absolutely go for it. When I first began, I did do a lot of photographing outside. The only space I had available was only good for morning light. Otherwise I'd get shadows, and then you were depending on weather, but it worked for a while. So yes, those are my tools that I use. Like I said, you don't need all of them. They just make my life easier. And that's it for today. Tomorrow is halfway through the month. Very excited. We're doing it. And I don't know what tomorrow's video is going to be about yet. But you know what? I'll figure it out. I hope everybody has a fabulous Tuesday. I'll see you tomorrow.